wasting our time, I'm just going to share my screen. Can you let me know if you could see the screen? Can you see my screen? Okay, good.
Yes.
All right. Okay, that's fine. So why we're here today is to talk about from clarity, the number one from confusion to clarity, the number one reason SME businesses waste money on marketing and how to fix it. Okay, so about Zef+, who we are, so that you know why we are qualified or why we can talk to you about this. So what we do is we help small and medium scale businesses grow revenue by using data. So the keyword there is that data-driven clarity, because our belief is that, you know, if most small scale businesses, they don't have the funding to hire a data team. And we know that if you don't understand what, you know, data, because each day we collect data. If you make sales, you collect data, like the person that spoke about, you know, he's posting things on social media and people are seeing it. That's, you know, information, that's data being collected. So if you don't really know if this are actually producing the right results, you cannot really make headway. So it might just be okay, let me try art, or let me try this. Things that they didn't work. That you might even get discouraged before you try again, or the whole business might just stop. So that is basically why we talk about data-driven clarity. So we want to make sure that we've looked at different things. When we talk about data, don't just think about numbers. Don't just think about, okay, figures. That's what we think. Data-driven clarity is maybe I'm trying to get clarity on what business am I offering, and then that's sitting down to sit down and write down some things to get that clarity. That is those information you put down on the paper. It's already data that you've actually put down and you're asking yourself, I've got this information to work with. So let me see what decisions I can make from this. So don't always think about numbers or figures. It includes every information, let me put it that way, that helps you decide better and then provide clarity to your business for smarter marketing decision. Right. So let's look at the next. Okay. So what's the reality? No matter how good your product is, if no one sees it, no one will buy it. That's just the basic thing. I know what? Bad products can even sell better than good products with an intentional marketing. And then most SMEs spend money on marketing without knowing what works. And you know why I'm passionate about this is because I've worked with people who have spent money and it burns, you know, it hurts. You know, I talk with someone that, you know, by the time you spend this money, you don't even want to consider the business. And it's not because you don't have a good product. It's just because there was no clarity from the beginning. So it's a matter of, let's try this. And of course, you got a limited budget and you're trying all those things and none is working. And it's like you're draining. So this is something that this is a reality. That's why we have to get it right. And when I say no matter how good your product is, I've seen people who spend money on developing their products. That's very, very good. You know, spend money on getting everything professional. And at the end of the day, there's no plan for marketing. That's another angle, you know, and then those business owners will feel so, you know, demoralized. So feel bad about the whole thing. And I'm like, I've done this and I said, yes, you've done these things. Your website looks professional. Product is very good, but nobody is seeing it. So nobody can buy it. And then another thing again is also, I've seen someone also who have a product and started the advert from a high, not where it should start. So it also burned money. And then at the end of the day, it just came back. I'm like, oh no, you know, one thing with business owners is that even when you say you're not doing it, at the end of the day, find that you still have to do it, because if you look at what has been committed, you don't want to just walk away. So that is why this is a reality, and this is why this is key. So what are common mistakes, marketing mistakes business owners do? You know, one, no clear goals, no clarity. And then secondly, just like we've mentioned, not knowing which metrics to track, or disconnected data sources for bigger businesses or don't know what data to collect. So when I say disconnected data sources, because I've worked with a client that has, it's not a small, it's a big company, and at least it's a medium scale, not small company. And they've got their data in paper forms in different way. And but we can, so that already is not giving a picture of what is happening in the company. Yes, money is coming in, money is going out. But by the time this whole thing keep happening, you might get to a point, you wake up one day and there's no money. So that's why keeping track of things is very important. I want to talk about not knowing what data to collect. This is very, very key, because if you don't know what to collect, that means you might even have it, you don't know it's useful. So this is something very, very key, why this is very, very important in your marketing. So now, before we even go into metrics, before we go into data, let's talk about marketing strategy, which is one of the things and someone spoke about that they want to know what's the best way to go into this. Now, before you start your business, now I'm sure that most people that signed up for this are already business owners. So meaning they've got something they're already doing. They're selling. So, or they're at the point whereby they want to launch. So it's very, very key to get this information right. Now, questions to ask before choosing any marketing strategy at all. Any marketing strategy. What do I really want to achieve? And because we have different businesses here, that's where the questions now is, what you're going to say is different from what the other person is going to say. What do I want to achieve? The first person that spoke talked about the business is about packaging foods, conveniently for the audience, Africans you're serving. The other person talked about, providing some digital services for risk assessment for health, for people who have some health challenges. Now, that is what you want to achieve. So it's going to be different from different businesses, but that's the first thing you want to ask. And then, because clarity starts with purpose, define the goal. I'm sure you might have heard this, but what I'm going to be doing is to help you break it down. Because one thing is that, yes, everybody tells you define the goal, and you're like, I think I know my goal, but at the end of the day, it's not working. So that's why we want to bring it down. Because small scale business owners, one thing I've realized, because it's you, this is your business. Sometimes, you don't have the resources to have all the professionals from every angle advising you. So you're trying to make, you understand what you're just like, maybe if you're a doctor and you understand your profession. If you're going to be selling some materials using medicine, or maybe you have a hospital, or you have, you're going to offer services, your business, or you understand the profession, but the actual angle of how to market it is a different ballgame. So that's why sometimes things fail. So that's basically why we are addressing this thing. Before you choose, so that people who are still trying to go into business, or maybe you already have your business ready, because for you to be here, you have something you're doing. That is, it's for business owners. Ask, do I want more leads? And leads is for people who are service-based businesses. Or more repeat customers. That's for people who have products or service-based, or more brand awareness. So these three things are very, very key. And why are they key? If you have a service-based business, if let's say you're selling, when you say service-based, let's say you're actually helping people clean their homes or clean their offices. Now, if you're marketing yourself, if nobody asks you, how does it work? You can't be thinking about money coming in. That is just the truth. And that is what we call inquirers or leads. So people who are asking you, oh, how is this business, what do you do? What do you do? How does it work? What's the price and all those things? That's leads. And of course, if you're service-based, you find that you need to have a pot of leads before you can talk about conversion. So let's say if 100 people ask you, oh, what do you do? Can you tell me more? Now, maybe we're talking about 10%, 10 of them, that's even a high conversion rate. Maybe out of 100, 10 people finally comes to pay. That's 10% conversion rate. So do you see that at that point, what you need to do is that ask yourself, what you need is for more people to ask you questions. That's what we call leads or inquirers. Welcome, Ogo. Good to have you here. Please, can you mute your background so that people can hear us? Thank you. So back to what we're saying. Do you want more leads? So more leads means that's a pot of people. That's when you hear about marketing funnel. It means you've posted on social media, you've posted anywhere, you've posted. So that is, you're throwing it out to everywhere, creating awareness of what you're doing. The next thing is that people are now engaging with what you're posting, asking questions. That is when they come to lead, or maybe you get their email address, or you get their contact, or they ask you a question. That's lead. So is that what you want? So maybe at this point of time, you have 100 people asking you a question. What that means is that maybe if you have 5% conversion rate, which is still good because that's the truth, that's 5 people out of 100. It means that what you might need is more of leads to get that conversion. So that's how what we call funnel works, or more repeat customers. So let's say, for example, you're already selling. People are already buying what you're selling. Let's say for product-based business, let me use that one. And when I say products, you have a physical product you're selling, and people come and buy. So you want more repeat customers. You see that this goal is different. The way you're going to target it is different from someone who wants more people that are going to ask questions. So for more repeat customers, that means you're looking at the people you already have. You want them to come back. This is a different goal. Or more brand awareness. Because remember, the top of the funnel is that brand awareness. So people are hearing about what you're doing. And then it filters from the brand awareness down to leads, down to customers, and then to more repeat customers. So these are different goals. So depending on what you're doing, you're going to ask yourself, at which point in your business are you? If you're starting newly, if you already have, as I mentioned, if you already have people coming to buy from you, and maybe you have product basis, it can be talking about repeat customers. If you have a service-based business, let's say you offer cleaning, you're talking about maybe somebody have come in. How can you make them to come back again so that you can save on marketing? Or you're still starting afresh and you need people to know what you're doing. This is a different goal. So looking at where are these people who are going to buy from me, where are they? So this is a different goal. So define your goal. That's the first thing. And when this goal is defined, that leads us to the next thing. How much growth do I want in revenue or customer base over the next 3 or 6 months? So always it's good to have a long-term goal and then short-term goal, and ask yourself, in the next 3 to 6 months, how much growth do I want? And why I say this is because when you say I want to grow my business, that's it's vague. Everybody wants to grow their business. But when you say I want to grow my business, growth in what sense? In what way? So that is why we say you need to define this. Normally, people who come for our sessions, we give them a paper to define this. And at the end of the day, we can have information that helps us to really develop what is going to work for them for marketing in their products. So how much growth do I want in the next 6 months? So let's say you want revenue, depend on your business, in the next 3 or 6 months. So there's a known. Maybe you already have money coming in, because when you want to grow in revenue, maybe you already have people who are buying from you. Asking yourself, the people that bought from me, where did they find me? Even if maybe it's just 10 people, because sometimes we wait for them to be 1,000 or maybe for them to millions. Even if it's 10 people, ask yourself, those people, where did they find me from? Then that thing that worked, in the next 3 or 6 months, it's good to actually go back to that place they find you from and double down and try it again. And then you get that growth. Because one thing that's very important is that encouragement. If you know that what you're doing is working, it's easier to do it more. But when what you're doing is not working, that's when you get discouraged. So, or do you want customer base? That means, when we talk about revenue, if my goal is to get, let's say, $200 in a month, one person can buy something from me in 1 month and I get $200. But if my aim is to increase customer, that means I might have, if 10 people come and buy from me, I can achieve that 200, I can achieve that $200 in 2 months. But because our goal is different, somebody that is looking for customer base might be, I want more people to know about me so that I can get them to come again. But somebody that's looking for revenue might be like, you know what, I don't care how many product comes to buy, I want to hit this. So that person might have maybe one product selling that 200 pounds, get one person to buy it. It's the goal in mind. So it's about looking at your particular business over the next 3 to 6 months. What growth do I want? If you can pin this down, that helps you. And then what will success look like in numbers to me? So do I want 20% new sales, increase in sales, or plus 15 new customers? So write this down, and that's going to help you to really decide what you want, even if you're starting new. Because sometimes when you're starting new, you think and think and think, and you might just get tired of the whole thing. But if you don't define success, no marketing strategy will deliver it. So define something. Don't make it look so big. You can have a big term goal, which everybody has, but most times, if you don't break it in the next 3 months, what do I want to achieve? That's going to give you the courage to take an action that can deliver that. It's going to make your brain start thinking, how do I get this done? And then the second question is, in the clarity, we're still talking about the clarity points. Who am I really trying to reach? So this is about knowing the ideal customer. So remember, I said for you to be here, you're already a business owner. That means you have a business. If you're starting, you already have something that you're going to be doing. Now, who is my ideal customer? If you already have people who have bought from you for the first time, then that even makes it easy. You're asking yourself, who are my best customers right now? What kind of people are they? What problem do they want solved? And how do they describe it? And this is very, very important, because when you say about how do they describe it, let me touch a bit on messaging, on message. Because if you really want to get your marketing right, you need to be careful. You need to be very, very, strict about your message. There's one particular client I worked with. They've got everything set up. As in, they've got everything set up. So I worked with the team, and it was just a messaging issue that was the problem why people are not coming, and they don't get it. So let's say I'm looking for water and you're marketing soft drink. You're not going to get my attention. But if I'm looking for water, I say, does anybody want water? I will turn, because yes, that's what I want. So messaging is very, very key. And for you to get this message, you might need to go out of your comfort zone to really talk to those people. Ask them what they want, or even, or somebody that maybe have worked with the people, and ask them what they want. And from there, you can actually solve the problem. And also, where do they hang out? Because when we talk about this, also, where do they hang out? It's very, very key, because it helps you to really know where to put in your marketing. Like, the person that said, want to know what's the best place. So the people that need this product you're going to offer, where do they hang out? So if they're hanging out maybe in clubs, for example, and you're marketing in the streets, that's already a wasted ad spend. So, and I've seen this kind of happen. There's a particular one I saw, and they've spent money doing that project. And I'm like, these people you're spending this show for, are they the people that are going to give you the money? And they're like, we want to create awareness. I said, yes, that's fine. Let's create awareness. But at the end of the day, what do you want? You want the money at this point, because they're just starting. So why don't we go to the people that will give us the money? When we get the money, we can use the money to now do ad and create awareness. So do you see what I'm trying to say? So think about the people that's going to get from product. Where do they hang out? Think about this thing. So, and answer this question. And then what influences their buying decision? So when you have sat down to think about this, it's going to guide you. Remember, there are different businesses here. So I'm not really focusing on a particular business, because I want to touch base what everybody's doing and helping us. And then one thing also key, name one ideal customer and describe the person like a person. When you don't know the ideal customer, you'll be looking at people. And when you're selling to people, just like I say, it's giving to everybody and not giving to anybody. If you describe the person as a person, it's easier to connect. And when you're starting, you may not have known this thing, but if you have already done business and maybe you've sold at least, even if it's one or two, you can ask yourself, who bought from me? Why did they buy from me? What did it solve for them? And then who was that person? But if you have more people that have bought from you, it's even easier to ask yourself, who are they? You know, one man I worked with said he was selling to people, and at the point he sat down and looked at his data that most people that have bought from him are women, and they're from, mostly from 45 above. And he was advertising on TikTok. Now, that was then, TikTok is more of Gen Z. I'm not saying that you're not going to find that age, but when he saw this, when he analyzes, information on his data and saw this, you're like, oh wow, since I know this, it's easier to know where this kind of age are going to be hanging out, and I can go and get them there. So this is very, very, so even if it's few people that have bought from you, just ask yourself this question. You may not have enough data to actually, but just ask yourself this question, because at least you start from known to unknown. So when you're doing it, you get more data, you get more people, and then you can be able to say, okay, now I know who are my audience, and then you can now target them. You can't market clearly to people you don't understand. I remember speaking one lady, was when she told me her problem. I said, okay, this is actually what this lady wants to hear. So this is very, very key. And this, even when you're selling product based, which is, you will say, I already know my people, I know them. You know the funniest thing, the people you think that need your product. Let me give you an example. There's one particular product I was doing before, and I knew what it's used for. That is what I know is useful. Until one day I asked for a feedback from someone different. And what he told me he used the product to do, I've never heard of. I never knew that people can use it for that. So that also shows you that, you need feedback. You need feedback, because you cannot know what you don't know. And this word is very, very, very big. So you need that feedback to ask, to say, oh, wow. So this is what this product, and when you get a feedback, I find that it helps you in your messaging. It helps you develop strong messaging that can help you attract more of those people to buy from you. Now, what makes my offer different, or what's choosing? So remember, we are talking about, the clarity, as in the three question you need to ask yourself before you can even talk about choosing a marketing strategy, or choosing, talking about metrics, talking about those things. If we have not sorted out this thing, we can't go there. So that's why I'm starting from this, so that at any point anybody here is, you can actually follow. And even if you're way advanced from this, I'm sure you can pick up one or two things, and then we'll come back and talk about metrics and data. Now, what makes my offer different, or what's choosing? You may have heard this before, because it's not new if you're already a business owner, but it's always good to sit down and ask yourself this question. Have it in a paper, have it in a book. And I said, when we do our strategy session, these are the questions we ask people, and we help them to actually pick out, because sometimes when you even write it, you don't even see it. Pick out some of those things, and then help them to actually come up together. Okay, this is who your ideal audience is. This is your goal, and this is what metrics to track. Why should customers buy from me instead of others? So don't just come to shop and say, okay, everybody's already selling cup, let me start selling cup. Why would they buy from you? There must be something unique, or maybe there's a problem that you find that other products in have. That was why you brought your own. Emphasize on that, and make sure that people are actually interested in it. Because if let's say you solve a problem that is just for you, that's you. But also ask yourself, how many people are interested in this particular thing that made me do this? You need to have enough numbers to make sure that there's a demand in that aspect. So don't just go off and create something because, okay, it's a problem for me, I want to solve it. Fine. Are there other people who needs that problem? Or else because sometimes I might just do a product, you know what, you're not in a haste. You want to actually educate people to know about it. Because there's some product like that. It's not as if because people demand it, because sometimes people don't even know what they need. Then what you do is to develop this because it's solving a problem, and then you now educate people why they need it, and then from there they can buy it. So if this is your goal, then this is fine. But if your goal is to make money straight away, if your goal is to, I need, revenue to come from this, then you need to think about this in the business, with the products. And what do my happiest customers say they love about my business? Is my message clear and simple enough for a stranger to understand? Because confused customers don't buy, but clarity sells. So I've talked about this messaging before. So these are the 3 key questions you need to ask yourself before you can actually talk about, okay, what metrics am I collecting? So this is like laying a foundation for this. Right. So the next thing we're going to talk about, okay. So now, where am I now? What is working even a little? So when you have sorted out those questions and you have your answers, so the next thing you're asking yourself is, where am I now? And what is working, even if it's a little? Why I said is a little, that sometimes because things are not yet at a point where you want it to be, you know, say, nothing is working. No, don't think like that, because it's, it's small, and you get to where you're you want to be. So where am I now, and what's working even a little? So before spending more money on on marketing, you need to know what's already producing some results. So when I say that is, if you already sold something, you need to ask yourself, where are the people finding me? Where are people finding me? Because I know when somebody said, okay, that is posting on social media, but he doesn't know whether it's actually bringing results. Fine. So this is an unknown. Now, but at this point in time, what is actually working? Where are the customers coming from? Because why I say that is, if you already know that social media is bringing in money for you, then fine, you do more. You can put more ad. But if you don't know whether it's working, why? Is it because you've not put something in place to track where those customers are coming from? If so, that means their website, are people buying from the website? If they are buying, where, have you checked, do you have Pixel in your website to track where they are coming from? So this is something you need to ask yourself. Or if the one you're already selling now, if they come from referrals, that means this is what is working now. Now, let me double down on what is already working. I understand we want to expand to marketing to other places, but when you do everything at the same time, you might actually lose focus. So that's why I said, ask yourself, where am I now and what is working? So that if you know what is working, you can spend more on what is already working. If most of your sales are coming from, let's say, email, so you get leads, as in you advertise and tell people to sign up to get their email. So if you send people email and they buy, and send people email that they buy, what does that show you? Email is working for me. That means let me focus more on that. So that is something key. Ask yourself, what is working now, even if it's a little, and then double down on that first, establish it, and then move to another thing. Now, which marketing activity brought me my last 5 customers? This is very key, because we are looking at where we are now. Which marketing activity? So they're saying, so check it, sit down, ask yourself. So the people that bought from me, do they just discover, where did they discover me from? Was it from Google? Then if it's from Google, that means SEO is working. Then that means, do I need to put more money in making that thing stand out? If it's from, let's say, you sell in, let's pop-up shows and people came from there, that means it's working. Find out more. So it's about where is it working from? Or let's say if you're a service-based business, maybe you went for maybe you partnered with somebody in their business, so that they can tell people about you. Okay, and people are coming from there. That means it's working. What do? You find more people who are in line with what you're doing and partner with them. So that is like, where are you now and what is working? Then the next thing is, what marketing feels natural or easy to do consistently? So this is very, very important, because I'm talking to small scale business owners. Now, if you want to do everything, as I mentioned before, you will get drowned, you will get tired. But if you've made any sale at all in your business, and you've asked yourself what marketing activity brought my last customers, then what marketing feels natural or easy to do consistently? Which platform, if you're posting on platform, which one is easy? Maybe because it's easy to do on your phone, or maybe because it's easy to just get a picture and put, and then, so which is easy for you? Why I say that is, if something doesn't come natural with you and you're forcing yourself at the beginning, you will get tired. You don't want to put your energy in what is not working. If you do that, you're going to get tired. And if you get tired, you might just, you find that you don't have the energy to continue the business. So ask yourself this. And then if you're at the point where you can outsource or ask somebody to actually look into the help you with the marketing aspect, you yourself already need to know what's working. So make sure it's that one that works naturally for you that you are even at outsourcing. The reason being that you can actually supervise what is happening there. I've seen people, hire people and then pay them to do a marketing that they don't even know anything about, without first of all going to learn about it. Even if it means one or 2 hours course to sit, let me know about this. If the people will just eat you up. Because they know now we are human beings. They know that you don't know what you're looking for. So what they do is that they will be giving you reports, You're not even reading a report because you don't know what it means. And then you're spending your money. By the time you realize that, you're feeling, things are already spoiled. So even if you're going to outsource, think of what is working first, which marketing activity brought your 5 last customers, and then outsource to that one that you can go and take, few courses or few things, or you understand, so that you can see what they are doing and supervise. If not, things can go away. It's a different thing if you're hiring, professional to handle it, then that's okay, but you still need to know what they're doing. But don't, so that's basically what I'm just trying to say. What marketing feels natural or easy to you for you to do consistently, and then double down. When I say double down, focus more on that one. Then what's not working and why might that be? You found out what is working, then you're asking yourself, what is not working? Because the truth is, as I mentioned, what feels natural with you. Maybe you've heard that if you do this one, it's going to work out better and you get more people. And then you've tried it and it's not working. The next question you're asking yourself is, why might it not be working for you? And then by the time you start asking that question, you can ask somebody that understands that thing better. Because it's always good to get guidance. If you don't know something, speak up, ask questions. You can ask somebody who knows the place. This is not working for me, and I don't know why. Can you help me? When you get that answer, you find that it might even be something you've never thought about, or something small which you can just fix and things start happening. And then audit your past actions. This gives you starting point for clarity. So say trying to lay that for, to explain how to get this clarity that can help. Please, can you mute or go so that we can hear ourselves? Thank you so much. Yeah. So so coming back to what we're saying, that instead trying to talk about that clarity that can help you know where to focus, because that's the idea of this webinar. Right. So the next thing you're going to be looking at is capacity. And why we are talking about capacity? Because we are small scale business owners in this webinar, capacity is very, very key. Time, scale, and budgets. We've mentioned before what kind of marketing comes naturally to you. How much time can I honestly commit to marketing weekly? Because the truth is, if you don't market, nobody's going to buy your product. As I mentioned that, I've seen people who committed a lot of money, I mean a lot of money, to develop a product, get it to the point where it's ready, and they made their product the best. But because there's no marketing, no money is coming in. I'm not saying it's not good to do that, but before you even get to that point, you need to have a plan for marketing. Because if you put all your money in your business and there's no money coming in, you're going to be discouraged. So that is it. So how much time can I honestly commit to marketing weekly? Remember, whether it's you or whether you are sourcing it or anything, how much time can you do it? And then what skills do I already have? Writing, talking, design, video. And then what's my monthly budget? So because marketing, it relying on if you're posting on social media these days, to be honest, you have to invest for things to work the way things are now set up. If not, they'll only be showing that thing to your friends and your families. So it's good to have a capacity to look at your budget. And when you have your budget and you can now plan, what can I commit to this? You start from somewhere and grow. Don't commit what you cannot, it's too much for a start. Actually, at that point where you don't even know how things work, if you commit a lot of things to it and then your money get burnt, you're going to get discouraged. So put little, be testing and be learning. And then, am I ready to invest smartly, not emotionally? When I say emotionally, is, we talked about finding out what works. Not maybe I'm hearing people say, oh wow, it's working on Instagram now. That's where people are. Now go there and I'll say, okay, let me advertise on Instagram, or maybe get an influencer on Instagram to talk about my product. Of course, you pay them. And things, you just spend that money, and without having, how am I going to track this money I'm going to give to this lady? How am I going to track that sales, any sale that comes from him? How or her? How do we track it? So that's why we say investing smartly, not emotion, not like it's working there, let me try it. Before, ask yourself, how do I track it? Because you can't do everything. Choose the marketing that fits your strengths and stage. Now, I'm going to be going to the metrics now. So how will I know it's working? So what numbers tell you if your marketing is effective? So, and how do you track them? Have a spreadsheet or even a notebook. Why I say notebook is that if maybe your day, you know how your day works, sometimes maybe you're not always where you can access things, get a notebook. Or you can have an iPad, or you can have as in what makes things easy for you so that you can put in the numbers. Now, what 2 or 3 numbers will tell me if my marketing is effective? I remember somebody talked about impressions. So let me talk about impressions. Now, let's say you put something on Facebook. You have an analytics part in Facebook that shows you what how many people that sees your products. Or if you sell on Amazon, like someone mentioned here, and you pay for adverts, impressions are how many people that actually saw that the product you posted. So if you're going to be tracking what you're doing is working, the first thing you're going to be writing down, or you're going to in your spreadsheet on your notebook, is number of impression. So how many people was this product shown to? Be it on Facebook or be it on it, how many people was this product shown to? Now, be it even if you're doing service-based or product-based, how many people was this product shown to? So that's the impression. Now, the next thing you're looking at, so that's on that top funnel. And the next thing you're looking at is number of people that clicked. So I'm talking about everything online, number of people that actually clicked. So if let's say 1,000 people, there's an impression of 1,000 and maybe like 50 clicked, looking at that percent, it's okay, if this number of people see my products, this number is going to click. Then the next thing you're looking at, when they click, what was the result? Or you can also look at what we are they searching for. Like if it's Amazon, where they are where anybody that comes to Amazon needs to buy, what we are they searching for? If they're searching for what they're searching for is not related to what you're selling, you may know that money, you're wasting your money. So that means that's already a way to track whether your advertising is working or not. So, but if they're searching for, let's say, for example, I always use this cup. They're searching for cup. You're selling cup, and they're searching for plates. And then your advert is showing them and they're clicking. Now, somebody that buys plates can buy cup. Yes, that's possible. But you already see that it's a 50-50. So you're not sure. But if somebody searches cup and your ad gets shown to that person that has cup, there's every chance that the person is going to buy the cup because that's what it's looking for. So you're tracking impression, you're tracking click, you're tracking what are they searching, and you're tracking conversion. So when you have written those things down, you can now ask yourself, how much did I spend? how much did I gain in this week, and work out, is this working? What such things are working? And then that's, for example, if it's on, just give example with Amazon. So, but generally, the numbers that will tell you if your marketing is effective is, if you're a service-based business, leads. Leads means, let's say you have a website and you have a pop-up form or sign-up form whereby people can get something free and put their email address. These are leads. Or maybe people, you have somewhere, of course, it has to be a website where people can actually come and ask questions, or inquire what is, or even call a phone, or call on phone, or even WhatsApp to say, okay, I saw you doing this thing. Can you tell me more about it? How much is it? For how long? So these are inquirers and these are leads. So you need to track those numbers. If 100 people calls you and then 10 people buy, if by next month nobody calls you, you already know you're not going to, 10 people are not going to buy. So what do you need for? You need to find a way to get people to ask those questions. So these are the numbers you're tracking. And then you're also tracking repeat sales. If you're selling a product people can use and come back again, and people come and are not using it, and people are not, and they're coming once and going away, then you're tracking that and asking yourself, why are people not coming out? And asking yourself, what incentive can I give to get them? So this is actually how it works. And then very key, cost per customer. Because I've seen people at the end of the day, you spent almost $100 and then you make 110. It's not cost effective. So that's why you're going to be looking at what's the price point of my product and looking at the cost you're spending for advertising. So these are the numbers you're going to be tracking for you to know what is working and not working. And then how will I track them? If you're at a point where you can invest in systems, that's very good. You can get CRM, you can get this thing. Normally, when we work with clients, we look at where they are and then advise on what we think that can serve best, depending on the number of customers they have. But even if it's just a spreadsheet or notebook, depending on where you are in your business, track these numbers. It gives you an idea of what is working. And what it does also is that you know what you're expecting. Let's say, for example, when I mentioned, if 100 people calls on phone or emails you, or you send an email to 100 people, only 4, and then 5 people buys out of that action, then if by next month you didn't do that, you already know that you're not going to get that 5 people to buy. It's very simple. So you can predict what is going to happen. So you're not like, this month nobody came. And so you know what action to take to get what you need to get. And then, as I mentioned, all these questions, ask all these questions before you go ask yourself, oh, what's happening, what's working, what are people doing? And let me invest on that. So, because clarity doesn't start with data, it starts with direction. I've talked about the questions you need to ask yourself, which is going to give you that direction of what to do. And then we talked about your goals, talked about your audience and your strengths. And then once you've talked about those things, and then you are writing down these numbers I talked about, the number of, impression, click, leads, engagement, and then conversion. And then the cost of this thing, because you need to track the cost. If you don't know the cost, then you're going to be getting money in, but you're not checking outgoing. And then at the end of the day, you're spending money and you're in debt. So this is why you need to actually put those figures down. And then once you know your goal, your audience, and your strengths, then the numbers you pick from those things can guide you confidently. Now, so marketing clarity means knowing what exactly was working and not why. So let me talk also about numbers now. So it's about replacing guesswork with data-driven insights, so that every marketing decision you make is backed by evidence, not emotion. So think of it as difference between, okay, last month we got more followers. That's good. But did you write how many followers you get? If you did an advert to get them, or what action did you get to get that more followers? So this is what we are talking about, tracking those metrics, so that if followers is what you want to get, then what action did you do to get the followers? If it was an advert that you did, how much did you spend on the adverts? How many people did you get? Because if it's just followers, that's your target. When followers join you, what is the next thing you're going to do to them? That's why it's good to have a plan. If not, you're just going to put adverts or make any action you take, and people follow you, and they're just there, no direction, that they don't know what next to do. So when you say you want to get more followers, whatever action you're going to take to get the followers, be it adverts, be it going live on YouTube, what's the next thing you want them to do? If you're paying adverts for that followers, what's the next thing? If you get them, have you had a plan of how to tell them what you want them to do so that followers, people from there are making inquiries about what you're doing, and then from there, somebody bought from you, and then money they brought in from that conversion, that buying from you, you can say, this is my return on investment on this ad. Does that make sense? So in this case, you already know what you're tracking. You spend this money to get this number of followers. From this number of followers, we told them what we're doing, we followed them up, and then some people inquire what we're doing. And then from there, this number of people bought from us, and then this is the money they brought in. So you have an idea of how much you spend to get this result. You try again, you try again, you try again until the point to say, okay, I now know that if I spend this, I will get this money. Then it's easy for you to spend it because you know the result you're going to get. But when you don't track it, when you don't have things in place to show you, then that's where the problem is. So if you're posting online or posting to social media, you need to have a pixel in your website that shows you how many people are actually coming from your post to what you're doing. And then from there, you can track the results you're getting. Then also, talking about marketing clarity, talking about clarity of goals, you can't measure success without knowing what it looks like. We talked about define what you want to achieve, and then aligning marketing activities with specific measurable outcomes, which means, what do I want to achieve in the next 3 months? What action can I take to get it? These things are measurable. So that after 3 months, you can tell yourself, I did this, this is what I got. Even if you didn't achieve the goal you want, but at least you did what you said you were going to do. This was the result from it. Then you can now evaluate. Why did it not work? Could it be that I missed out this, or maybe you cannot even see what, you don't know what, you've checked everything and you've done everything well. It might just be you try again, because it might just be that the season was not in your favor. Just like if you're selling something that is for winter, during summer, that's that's already showing you that seasons also has an effect in what you're doing. So always be specific in what you want to do. I want to gain 200 followers that will convert into paying customers. And one good thing with having this goal is when you say I want to get 200 followers, the action you're going to take to get 200 followers is different from the action you're going to take to get 200 followers and that will convert into paying customers. Because what is going to happen is that you're going to put action to bring them. You're going to put action to follow them up until you get this thing. But that's why it's good to define what you're doing. So I'm sure from here, you're already picking up, what to track, what data to collect. Remember what I'm saying, that it might be in systems. It might just be in spreadsheets. It might be in your notebook, but I'm already saying it in pieces, what you need to actually track. And if you really need us to guide you, because we have, we work with business owners to actually sit down to develop all these things and then come up with, okay, this is what you're doing. This is what you need to be looking at. But we understand that businesses are different. This is the number that will matter to you. And this is what you need to track from this to this, and, give you that clarity for you to work. But even if not, I've mentioned most of them here. You can pick them up. Now, also, talking about clarity of data. So focus on the lead. So we have two types of metrics: lead metrics and lag metrics. So lead, if we look at the word lead, it means the leading. So the leading. So before somebody parts his money and give you his money to buy what you're selling, actually in these days, whereby is it that, or else if maybe you're in a shop That's a different metric. If you have a shop where people come to buy, we're talking about footfall. So how many people comes around in that place? How many people comes and see, or what action are you doing to drive people to that place? But when it's online, where most businesses happen these days, or people post online, talking about the lead metrics, the things that lead before the sales. So clicks, leads, sign up. So this is what we call lead metrics. So if people are clicking your products and they're not buying, then ask yourself, are those the right people? Because if somebody clicks what you're doing, that's an interest. So if up to, let's say 50 people have clicked your product and they didn't buy, then that's for physical product. Then that means ask yourself, is anything missing? Is this product for these people? Or am I saying the right thing? Even for service-based, whereby maybe you have, or maybe for physical products, whereby people also click your adverts and they click and they don't engage. Ask yourself, or maybe have you set up something that will lead them to the next stage of the click? Is the message there correct? Is your checkout thing okay? So these are the lead metrics you need to check. So not the clicks, number of leads, number of signups. So if you have a website whereby you have a pop-up, people can actually give you their email. These are the metrics. So how many people that clicks that link actually sign up? Somebody might just click the sign up link and look at it and go away. So all those things are things you need to. These are the lead metrics. Why the lag metrics is that when this action has been completed, somebody has clicked, has engaged, sales. So this is lag metrics. And then of course, sales, talk about number of sales, talk about money, which is the revenue that comes in, and then retention, which is key, because you want people to buy from you and come back again. It really makes your business work, because it means that at some point, even serving those people that are already your customer can save you the stress of going up and down every day to look for customer, actually, depending on the size of your business. And then when you link these two, you know which action.
It's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you what the song you do. Say it's your thing. Do what you want to do. I can't tell you what the song you do. If you want me to love you, maybe I will. Believe me, woman, it ain't no big deal. Oh, you need love now, just as bad as I do. Makes me no difference now. Who you think your thing to? Oh, it's your thing. What you gonna do? I can't tell you what I shot you to. Say it's your thing. Do what you wanna do now. I can't tell you.
Just that simple, flow of, do this before this was affecting sales. So these are the things you also need to check and then link this to and see which action leads to profit. So if 60% of your leads come from email and then you spend 80% of your budget on social ads, that's lack of clarity. So what does that mean? So you set up something to collect email, and then most people that come to you come from that email. Then you spend on ads, then that's not clarity. So what it means is that look for how to get more people to give you your email. Focus on that. Spend money to get people's, to get more email contacts so that you can send more emails to those people. So that's how basically it works. And then I'm having a system that turns insight to next step. So if you're at the point whereby you can invest on systems, that's fine. If not, use your spreadsheet, use your notebook, and then put things together. Stop was not working, scale was performing, and experiment with data-backed confidence. You don't need fancy dashboards. You need consistent reflection on what this data is telling me to do next. Because sometimes when you look at dashboards, you look at figures and everything, some people, they get scared. So you don't need something fancy, honestly. What you need to know is, what is this numbers telling me? And then reflect on it. And then from that reflection, come up with, okay, what do I do next? So which is very, very key. And when you have this clarity, you can spend less but earn more. And your team works on what matters most. you can predict performance instead of reacting to it. I've mentioned that when you know the action to take to get the number you need, if you don't do that action next month, you already know what's going to happen. So there's no point, so you already know why it didn't work. So yeah, that's it. And then you make decisions with confidence and not confusion. And clear data, wasted spend, poor decisions, lost profits, and burnt out. So the reason why I've put this thing together is if you collect this information, you already know why you're collecting it based on this explanation I gave and what you need to collect. It's easier for you to know what next to do. But when you don't even know what to collect, even when those data come, you just look at it and work it because you don't know. So that's why we put this together to explain that. And then you come up with a 3-step clarity framework to help you in your business. And what that means is collect what matters. So now we've explained clarity. You know what you're collecting, so you collect what matters. So instead of collecting what doesn't matter, instead of thinking, you know what to collect. That's the main thing. You know what data to collect, and then when you collect them, when we talked about, the lag metrics, the lead metrics, you can now connect, okay, I know that this number of people clicked. This is the number of people that bought. So you can connect how these two things connect to each other. And then with this, you can now, convert the insight to action, and you know what to do next in your marketing. So even without fancy stats, as I mentioned, a simple spreadsheet like Google Sheet or Excel can help you. What column do you need there? Date, channel, activity, lead or inquiry, sales, customer source. Ask every customer, how did you hear about us? And use that info to tally what was working. If you know where they heard about you, then you can double down on that. You already know that's how people find you, and then you can double down. I'll put an example of a KPI, but remember, businesses are different. This is just a general thing that you can just see. Tracking dates, we're looking at the channel, number of people that came to this channel, sales, revenue, the cost, and then notes for you. So you may not do this every day, depending on where, what your product is, but you can do it at the end of the month, track this, of course, you put them in the place where that it's being collected. Number of people that came from each channel you have, number of sales that came from that, revenue, how much you spend, and then that help you to know what next to do. And then I've talked about connecting the dots to see the whole picture. It's not about tech, it's about perspective. What did you do that brought results, and do it? If you attended an event and spoke to people and it worked, find those kind of events, and then also look at when that activity has been done, what happened, outcome, and then ask simple clarity questions weekly. What worked best this week? Which effort gave me the highest return? What can I do more or less of next week? And then visualize this result using maybe simple chart in Excel, or if you have a CRM or Canva. This is going to help you know what next to do. And then what worked? Take one clear step weekly. Take one step weekly. So for example, you posted things to WhatsApp and then it led to 3 new sales. And then maybe you posted to Facebook and nobody said anything. What do? You send more broadcasts to the WhatsApp and then check your Facebook contents. Is it, touch it a little bit, check, is it actually, are people connecting to it? Check it, maybe try a different content and see if that gives you the results. And then this builds data discipline even before you're ready to start investing in systems that can help you in your business. Then the tools and quick things you can use for your business. You can use Google Forms, to collect data, or MailerLite, or MailChimp to send email, Canva Analytics. These are the few things that's, free or low costing that can help you. Why? If you're already at the stage whereby you want things to be set up, maybe a CRM setup, or BI dashboards, or put your marketing analytics, this is something we offer. So let's say your data is already scattered, you don't even know where to start. We can come and help you bring everything together, put in a dashboard, automate the system so that you can confidently continue doing it. And then before and after before, so at the point you move from confusion and waste to clarity, confidence, and consistent growth. I remember you don't need fancy tools. You can start with a notebook and curiosity, and that's how every data-driven business begins. So what it means is just start something and then grow on that. So yeah, so basically I know I've spoken about the kind of offers that kind of products we offer to people. So I'll just run through it, offer this clarity part whereby we have a quick call with someone to sit down with, help you put your KPI in order for the particular product you're doing, and then give a 30-day simple action plan, which helps you to get instant control of your marketing clarity. So we normally sit down with people, draw up those plans, make sure there's a clarity on what they are doing, clear, so that you can put things together and have them in paper and they know what they're doing for their specific business. Because what I've just shared now, I'm sure you must have picked something, but I didn't focus on a particular business because there are lots of businesses that have registered for this webinar. And then the next thing we can also offer is, can help you build a repeatable system to help you stop marketing waste and grow sales. We do a kind of 4-week guided program live to help you develop templates to track all these things, and then do personalized progress review for your products. And in 4 weeks, you move from that place of confusion to clarity, and with systems that can help you do it. Now, the last one is also hands-on implementation for those that are ready to scale fast. So I talked about people who call us and then we bring their data from different points they are in, put them together in a system, and then do it on Power BI so I can actually see what's working and what's not working in their business. And Power BI for a start is free. So you can get Power BI free for a start until you come to the point whereby lots of people start using it for your business, and then give training on how to maintain the system and support. So with this, we provide a simple clarity system that shows you where your sales come from and how to grow them. Right, I've been talking. So thank you so much for listening, and now it's time for questions.
Do what you want to do.